And then Vinny goes, my thong itches.
Oh no.
I'm like, what? Are we on the internet?
We had a whole bit set up for this, and then you started it off with that. What am I supposed to do with that, Brian? What am I supposed to do with that?
It's so good. This time we don't need you to add any spice to it. Tonight, the Mighty Nine reunite with the Ruby, gain a magical ally, and meet Knott's son?
Not.
We'll break it all down. Marisha Ray, Matthew Mercer. God damn, look at that beard. Woo!
It's getting there.
There's gonna be some gifts tonight. I can't wait. Oh boy. Just don't present any female nipples so I can go look at it on Tumblr tonight. All that and more on Talks Machina. I wish I had some right now.
Yeah.
Hey, a couple of announcements. A huge, overwhelming thank you to everyone that came to our very first art show and our second LA live show this past weekend.
Yeah.
It was like 1.5. The first LA live show was like
Yeah, very small in a
very
movie
small,
theater.
very testy.
Very testy. Ooh,
It
that's
was
on
great though.
brand.
It was our first opportunity to
So fun.
see if anyone gave a shit about coming to something
Yeah,
like that.
They
So
did.
I was there. Nobody knew who I was.
I don't think
I moved through the, because we hadn't announced yet, you know, that I would eventually go on to begin fucking up this show.
Yeah, well.
But yeah, this one was a blast. There was amazing audience. As always, there's a wave of love. The highlight for me was definitely getting to meet all of the amazing artists and so many people who have not only won on this show, but gone on to do way better things than that achievement's worth. But man, Joma was there. Everybody was there.
Elaine,
People
Ash,
flew in from 20
Amira.
different countries.
It's,
and
so many. I can't even like.
yeah.
It was a really cool gathering
Don't wanna
of members of the community, and I hope the first of many of that type of event that we have the opportunity to do in the future for,
I agree.
for the community from
I
all
agree.
facets of it. So
Yeah, completely agree. As a reminder, we did record The Search for Grog this weekend, and it will air in February, and I can't wait. It's good. It's good.
it was crazy.
It was fun.
It was very crazy.
There was a lot of cheering happening. There was a lot of gasping. I guess that happens at every live show.
This one was one for the books, though.
One for the
man.
books. Just a matter of weeks, and everyone will get
Yes.
to enjoy
Couple
it
weeks. Couple weeks.
over and over and over again.
Not too long.
It's like the Nightmare Before Christmas. I've watched it 3 times now. We're excited to announce our very first guest for the 2nd season of Between the Sheets.
Drop it. Drop it. Drop it. Oh, shit! Get that at the bottom.
It's your boy. Well, the
that.
problem is Chris taped it because he said my chest was too big. Yes, Logic is going to be our first guest. It's going to air this coming Monday, the 28th at 7 p.m. Twitch.tv/ my boy gets the full Critical Role at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Isn't it his birthday?
His
today?
birthday today.
Bobby, happy
Oh my
birthday!
goodness! Happy birthday!
29 years old, Sir Robert Bryson Hall II, born this day, forever blessed.
If you want to get Bobby something for his birthday,
Watch Between
Between the Sheets on our
Monday.
channel Monday.
January 28th, 7 p.m.
Twitch.tv/Critical Role.
It's a fantastic conversation. He's in a really interesting place right now. And the interview is about like where he is right now. And it's awesome. He just is like dropping crazy bombs every couple of seconds. So can't wait for you guys to see it.
I've only seen
Bobby.
a little bit and a little bit.
Yeah.
Fucking smart.
Very smart, turns out. Yes. Yes.
Not that you would be able to tell that from his music.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
totally can. Yeah, very
Fucking
smart
smart.
guy.
I'm being sarcastic.
She's being facetious, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I picked
He's
up on that.
incredibly, deeply intelligent, and it's obvious. But yes, he's very.
He's
awesome. Smart.
It's great. And then the YouTube will be up on Wednesday, January 30th, as we do with our Between the Sheets episode. So I'm really excited for you guys. Season 2's kicking off. That means we're gonna have one every Monday night.
Yeah, yeah.
It's back.
All right.
Bar shit ready.
It is. It's ready. Without further ado, let us discuss episode 48, Critical Role Campaign 2, Homeward Bound. Why'd you gotta? Now I'm thinking about the movie, and I gotta go home and watch it now. Homeward Bound. You guys get to choose my sitting position for tonight. Contemplative or inquisitive?
Is there a C option? D.
Okay.
There's my.
We have a couple of crit roll stats.
Yay.
Yeah.
Almost every live show that we've done, I get to sit next to Andrew from Crit Roll Stats. I demand it. I say, you get him a ticket with Travis's money, and you put him right next to me, because he stats during the show, and it's so fascinating to see how engaged he can be while still like tracking. You know, he had like 15 different columns on this piece of paper.
He's amazing.
And he was just like marking. It was insane.
Because this is the first.
Pen and paper.
Yeah.
Pen and paper.
And because this is the first show he hasn't had to like live tweet.
He hasn't had to
got
actually
to
be on his
actually kind of
laptop.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
A little more than the usual ones, I imagine. So thank you, Andrew.
It was a
All the
blast.
rest of you guys.
He said he had a lot of fun, except for the drunk guy sitting next to him. There were no nat 20s in this episode. And the last time this happened was episode 33 of Campaign 2, when the Mighty Nine entered Nicodranus for the first time.
Huh.
Yeah.
So Nicodranus is just a no 20 zone.
Yeah.
No.
Signs up.
It's the parody to TMZ, but in Wildmount, the no 20 zone.
The no 20
Oh,
zone.
yeah.
NTZ.
Yeah.
NTZ.
Nicodranus 20s. Never mind.
Never mind.
Moving
Next
on.
part.
It would be
That was too
really
much.
fun if they had their own version of TMZ, though. That was just like, Jester was caught this weekend, you know, like doing
Oh,
something
man.
like that.
I could definitely see that in the Menagerie Coast.
Uh-huh.
Oh, God. Now I'm
Yep.
thinking about that. Anyway, continue.
However, though, Bo got her 40th natural one while attempting to persuade Yussa to meet with them. It's Yussa, right? I got that right?
Yusa.
Oh, thank God I said it right in recap.
No, you didn't.
But I'm also leading in 20s too, right? Or at least keeping pace.
I think you're leading in 20s from what I
So I'm
remember,
just-
Well, monks roll a lot of dice.
yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
So, like, yeah, you better be leading in 20s and 1s. It's true.
I'm as dope as I am a failure.
Well,
That's
I'm
a sure.
tired.
poignant.
that's
It's
a
been a very
sure.
long weekend. Let's just move on.
Just for the folks at home that might have been in the other room, she said, I'm as dope as I am a failure. Matt,
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
let's get started with the show with an answer to this question from Aaron Porter is, can you please tell us about the chair? It's just a chair.
It's a
the center of the
chair.
room.
It's in a single piece, unlike the other furniture in the chamber it's around.
Yeah.
It was representative, and it was a clue that somebody had entered and placed it after it was ransacked.
Let me ask you a question that somebody
yes.
might not have thought of yet. How many legs on this chair?
There's got to be something about this chair.
4. Like a chair.
Okay, I can picture it.
Not
Go
like
on.
a table.
Did it have arms?
Yeah, what was the arm situation?
Was it like
Full
one
back,
of,
half back?
Yeah. Did it have like leather, like one of those fabric embroidered cushions, or was
Where
it
you
wood?
tie the cushion to the little slits in the chair? Like,
yes,
yep.
like
uh-huh.
in between. Yeah, like a deck chair.
No, it was a chair.
Did anybody ask if there was a rug under the chair?
It was just a chair.
Fuck. Was there a rug?
Because
under
maybe
the
it wasn't a
chair?
magic chair, it was a magic rug under the chair.
And the chair was there.
But
to
perhaps
chair
the
trap
chair
door
was
under the
acting
chair.
like
It was
Thor's
the-
hammer
yes.
holding down the rug
Oh my god.
from getting up.
I'm trying so hard to keep the big bad chair of the campaign from being spoiled this episode of Talks, but you guys keep pushing the buttons. Let me weave my narrative, okay? It's a natural flow.
And here all this time I thought you'd use a door.
My CR30 chair I've been working on for half a year.
Wormwood's making the mini.
Yeah. Oh, and before I forget real fast too, hey, you, person who's having a rough day, I feel you, but happy birthday. And we're sending you good thoughts. You know who you are. Anyway, continue.
Oh. Man, Matt Mercer being so sweet for a change. I don't know what to do. Marisha, CD88 has a question for you. Yeah. How did Bo feel about being the one selected to join Caduceus at the meeting with Yusa? How does she think she did overall?
I think it was a rare case of digging a hole and digging a hole and digging a hole, but she hit an escalator and it was a perfect fucking time to get out of that hole very quickly.
That's the best moment for every classic prospector, when they finally dig deep enough to hit escalator.
Yeah.
The great stair rush of 1827.
She was stoked but nervous, just like I was.
Yeah.
It was terrifying. It was absolutely terrifying.
How do you think she did overall?
Me? Her?
Her.
Yeah. How do you think she did?
I think she did okay. She was very patient while they talked about fucking tea for an extended amount of time.
There was a lot of tea.
And I was holding it in. She can't wait just once and then like go right back to her old antics, because then all that, like, she would have learned nothing. So she's still trying to get better at waiting. So I think she actually did okay with that.
I think she did great. I mean, both of them. In a weird way, it was like a good combination of people to go into that that conversation.
It was a little good cop, bad cop kind of. It was cool.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
It was that. I'm going to be frank here. I was prepping a lot of stuff in the front of where they were going for that episode. A lot of like, okay, so they're probably going to stop in Nicodranas. They're probably going to head to the Empire. They might stop at any of these cities on their way. They said they were going to possibly go towards Felderwin. So I'll prep scenario there. I'll prep a little bit in Zadash. I'll prep a little bit along the way. I completely forgot about Ford's obsession with that fucking tower.
Oh, really?
And didn't really have anything ready for Yusa. So that entire sequence, that was so it was like, oh God, they're actually, okay.
Are you serious?
So when you think you were scared shitless, you weren't the only one.
Dang.
All you have to do is just not let them into the fucking tower.
But they're doing a good job, and they seemed excited about it. And I had enough of a character and story fleshed out that it was like, well, let's see how he would react to this. And so.
But doesn't part of you like the fact that when you get put in those situations, you have to trust your instincts?
Oh yeah, those are my favorite parts of D&D.
Yeah.
Like, I don't prep every single facet. I loosely prep a few things, and then the rest around it is just kind of improv based on what they do and where they go. My favorite moments are when you guys take me in directions of which I really have nothing planned, in which case it's purely organic.
Yeah.
That whole sequence was an example of that I actually really enjoyed. That was a lot of fun.
That was amazing.
I think we did pretty good, considering the first plan was to plant a magical tree that grows 40 feet in the middle of the street. So the fact that we got an appointment, we talked our way in, we didn't get unceremoniously thrown out. I think that we did okay.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Man, two things, Matt. Don't shave that beard. Don't take off that jacket.
Okay.
I mean, you can take off the jacket, but don't take off the jacket.
Well,
it looks great. You look great. Both of you look great.
You're sweet.
You've got a cool thing going on over there. You look very comfortable.
You don't feel you don't have to compliment me.
Thank God, because I had nothing.
I'm so tired.
Matt. Oh, you're great. Matt, Caddy Wampus wants to know.
Caddy Wampus.
Is it a relief to have the Happy Fun Ball mostly out of the Mighty Nine's reach again?
I wouldn't say it's a relief necessarily, because once they had acquired it, I began to planning all these different things within there if they wanted to pursue that thread, and they still can. if anything, now they just have a very, very comparatively powerful, arcanist who can warn them and can be kind of a chaperone to whenever they go in and out of it. But yeah, well,
Join us.
or
Field trip.
we'll see, depending on how if it behooves him. But it's one of those things where, as soon as they began to present these objects, it was like, oh, you children should not have this.
Interesting. Yeah.
But depending on if they continue to build that relationship at all, then I'm sure there are possibilities of them still dealing with its chaos. Just don't piss off Yusuf.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it. Marisha, Clayman V wants to know, how do you and Bo feel about Knott's revelations this past episode? And does Bo worry about Caleb right now more than normal?
Oh, man.
Some heavy shit happened this episode.
Some heavy shit, and I honestly think Bo is still in, like, a lot happened there at the end, and then we called it. So realistically, Bo is still processing, which is why one of the last things that she was able to get out there at the end of the game was, we need to talk. Like, we have to go somewhere and just, like, talk. Because and now it's getting to this point of where it's like, there's not going to be room for a lot of secrecy in certain people, I think. Like, if I had to guess, Chester and Ford are gonna want answers, and Caduceus on why Caleb's best friend just yelled "fuck him" very audibly in front of everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Honestly, I think Bo right now is in just kind of like, not. Ironically, I think Bo jumps to conclusions and judgments very quickly when she thinks she's confident enough, but at this point, I'm kind of not trying to jump to any conclusions and just trying to damage control in a weird way. I think that's where Bo is. I honestly don't even know what to tell you, like, what are Marisha's ideas and what are Bo's ideas right now, because Marisha has theories, and right now I think Bo is just processing.
Wow.
I don't know. That was a convoluted answer.
No, I understood. I understood what you meant. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Caleb's thing just keeps getting sadder.
Hey,
But you know what?
Liam has a brand.
But I love, but honestly though, like, it's like we talked about this in his Between the Sheets actually, like, I am attracted to those kind of stories too. I love stories that are, a lot lighter too, but it's interesting because it's the full human experience if you kind of go through, and if every character was like him, what a bummer, Right. But it's the same for each of you.
Well, it's very much a realistic character. I've known many people that are very similar to Caleb, and to me, it's not only finding a point of connection with their sadness and despair at times and self-loathing, but also their drive. And along that journey, you hope for and you look for and you want to cheer for the moments that they begin to pull themselves out of it or rely on their friends to do it.
Yes.
And it makes it hurt that much more when they stumble or fall back. And it's a fascinating story. When everyone made their characters in the beginning of this campaign and sent me all their backstories, and we had I laid it out kind of the party in front of me, I was like, oh, this is going to be real interesting.
Yeah.
A really unique spectrum of characters and stories. And then as I began to weave them into the world and weave some of them together as we went along, part of me is like, oh, this is going to make for some drama. But hopefully it'll make for a good story, depending on what choices they make and where they take it. That'll make it as fascinating for people watching as it is for us to play through it,
Yeah, I agree.
Am I a terrible person? You give me that look.
No, it's just a lot.
That's a lot.
It is a lot.
It's great.
Matt, Asahi Zumain wants to know, did you always plan to have Caleb and Knott's backstories intertwined because of their relationship, or did it just happen to fit together easily for the story the way things were playing out?
I didn't intend for it to be intertwined originally. A lot of it, it's just kind of as events happen in the world, whether or not they're present for it or they've altered them or changed them, I try and rationalize what makes sense based on all their stories that might cross or be adjacent, or one might lead to the next. Because there is a certain level of balance, in my games at least, how I like to run it, of a balance of things that are happening in the world outside of the party's intentions and goals and drives, and elements that tie into their goals and drives. You know, you want them to just be things that are aside from the chaos that surrounds them, and then finding equal points that personally tie them to that world. And so this was an opportunity with the war where I was like, okay, well, Caleb definitely has a connection loosely with some of the Cerberus Assembly. As much of a connection, we'll have to find out as we go. And then not story, I just kept thinking, like, if they were, what are the weak points of an empire that's able to hold their own on the front line?
Yeah.
Well, that's the food supply. And Felderwin is one of the largest suppliers of food, and so that would be an attack point. But what would draw them out there to even, not going into too many reasons. There's a lot of reasons why that attack happened.
No, I love it.
And based
Very Soviet Union.
kind of,
burning your own fields and
but
shit.
also based in the idea of what, one of the things that may have really sparked this war, and the experimentation, the room that they had discovered essentially in the notes from Lady Therogna.
Oh, is that who the notes were from?
That was basically, yeah, it was her notes on there. And I'm trying to think what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought.
The rune.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Is that that's something in there sparked the war?
Well, no, the idea that this experimentation and talking about like what the Korean are capable of doing with this dunamis and dunamancy type thing.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to get caught. I'm getting caught up in my own mind right now because like I have all these different threads coming together. So I apologize to you. Bear with me here.
As long as it's you spoil stuff, I'm totally fine with it. So don't.
Yeah,
worry.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure everyone's watching right now, being like, wait, what? What?
No, I'm
Did
kidding.
I?
No,
I
just
did.
let out
No,
as
no,
much
no,
lore. Trust
I'm gonna
me.
shut up
I will.
now.
No, you didn't.
Brian Foster, damn it!
What? I just love hearing the lore, so you can keep going. I'm gonna put this fucking iPad away. So what about the rune, though? Finish the thing about the rune.
Next question.
Son of a bitch. Oh, it's GIF of the week, you guys.
Fuck. It's like a groundhog on Groundhog's Day.
Tell us more,
Is it
Matt.
gonna come out or not?
Our winner.
Shadow.
My last episode of Talks for the next 3 months, guys.
Oh no! Between you and Sam, I got 4 cast members.
Our winner for Campaign 2, Episode 48 was sent in by Brohannes Brahms. That's the coolest name ever. Brohannes Brahms. Guess what their @name is? It's @Brohannes Brahms. Let's take a look. Feels 14 emotional damage. Oh no. Oh, that's good.
That's amazing.
That's amazing. Congrats to you, Brohannes Brahms. You have won these minis from our Vault mini-series with Steamforged. We've got Kiri, we've got Vanessa Sindriel. Did I say that right?
Yes.
Thank you. And we've got Vixilden. All right. Cool. These are awesome. Man, they turned out so great. You happy with them?
Yeah, I'm very happy with them.
Steve,
Had to approve them all.
do you like these?
I haven't really seen it.
Okay, we'll come by after the show and you can take a look. All right. Remember, you can submit
There it is.
to our weekly contest by emailing your submissions to, what is it, Danny? What is it? What's the email address? Matt. Skimurf01 wants to know, Was Knott's big reveal your idea, Sam's, or was it both of yours?
The big reveal is in the episode?
Yeah.
No, Sam had no idea that was really coming. Because he hadn't, Knott hadn't been there in a long time. And
It's hard to tell when he's surprised by something or not.
oh, he was scared shitless when he saw everything kind of going down the way it was. But that was kind of how I'd engineered it based on how long they'd been away and, what had transpired in their absence. A while back, I was planning for one of the possibilities, and they were talking back in the day about where they were going to go next after they had finished kind of their business in Zadash, after returning from Shady Creek Run. And Sam had said something about, like, maybe we'll go by my town on the way through. And I was like, oh, well, this would probably be, this kind of one thread I was thinking of might be intersecting with this. And this was going to be an event that they could have possibly encountered while they were in the area. But then they ended up going to Nicodranas instead. And I was like, well, it's not going to stop the event from happening. And now just make for an interesting aftermath type scenario. So
Shit. When you see the player getting scared shitless because that moment of backstory is coming in, is part of you like,
oh, it's delicious. It is the best.
Marisha, Maylene Lund Staugard wants to know, I'm gonna get a tweet about that. Now that we've seen the consequences of the prolonged boat trip for Knott's plot line, are you/Bo at all worried about Bo's parents and her little baby brother?
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit of worry. Comorta is still far enough away from the borderlines, but on the other hand, Zadash and now Felderwin have been attacked, and I don't know. It feels like no city is off limits at this point. It feels like they're infiltrating deep, and it kind of depends on what they're after. And I don't know. I guess I'm trying to deduce if it's a matter of distance or if it's a matter of priority.
Yeah.
And right now, I'm not 100% convinced that distance stops them. So I think it's that. I think it's that, you could look at it and be like, hey, it's far enough away. But, I mean, in fucking real life history, we've proven that doesn't always fucking matter.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm a little, Bo would never, like, fully, she's concerned, and she's kind of let on that she's concerned and a little panicked by it. But she's going to try and keep up that exterior as long as she can.
She's got a lot to deal with while she's doing that.
Yeah.
Danny, your favorite part of this episode?
My favorite part of this episode?
That was the question.
I really liked, I like when people interview and I assume everyone's ignoring you and just focusing on what I'm saying until you repeat the question back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Oh, okay.
I would probably have to say Knott's moment with Edith and that reveal was really intense. And also I really liked Caleb and Bo's fight.
Yeah, I did too.
That whole part was really good.
Yeah.
Disagreement.
Incapable of listening to each other.
Yep. Matt.
Yes.
Cirex145 asks, how was it showing Liam and Sam that their backstories were more intertwined than they thought?
I knew it was going to probably lead to some unique tension. I didn't know to what extent, and I guess we're still going to see to what extent. Once again, only a little bit of the information is available. All threads go far deeper, depending on where they want to pursue. So I'm very curious to see what you guys do next.
Yeah, heck yeah.
They just all sit in a circle and they all just take a moment and just talk about their problems and their issues, and everyone comes out feeling much more open and vulnerable with each other, and it all ends up perfectly. That's what's happening. Tell me that's what's happening.
That's what's happening.
Thank you.
That's what's happening,
I don't think
Danny.
that's what's happening.
Matthew Mercer.
I think Danny's in need of wholesome.
In need of wholesome? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, ain't that the
Danny's
fucking
looking for
truth?
wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can respect that.
Thank you.
There's a lot of wholesome amongst the chaos.
Well,
I have dreams, okay?
I don't
Most of the episode was wholesome.
Yeah, it was. Most of the episode was wholesome. A little shopping.
A little bit that got a little
Nothing wrong with
crazy.
Shopping. Getting 400 gold worth of paper or whatever.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Sam threw mud in a kid's face.
Yes.
Travis bought a fish.
Fucking hilarious.
Travis bought a fish.
You know, they had
Yep.
dinner with Jester's mom.
That
They
was
got
so
their puppy
sweet.
back.
Yes, Nuggets.
They got to see Bryce, and they were doing awesome.
I'm so glad they got Nugget back. That's
know.
all I care
Yeah.
about. I take it back. That was my favorite part of the episode.
What
Fuck
are we
everything else
gonna
that happened.
It was a very wholesome episode up until the very end.
Yeah, but I mean, a whole wholesome episode. Who wants that, you know? Yeah, that's why it's good to mix it up at the end. I don't want to jinx it,
Oh boy.
but Sam said he's coming on the show next week.
What?
It's true. Yeah. Okay. We had a lot of messages about the fact that Sam wasn't on this week. Guys, what could he have talked about?
What could he have said?
What could he have said?
Yeah.
What
We're
could
saving
he
him
have
for
said?
next week.
Like, Sam, what did your feet feel like while you were doing that part of the episode? Like, he could have answered
tearful
that.
Monologue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marisha,
Yes.
remind us how good it is that Sam isn't here with an answer to this question from Jay Lavore. Is Bo in any way worried that Caleb will leave the Mighty Nine now that his backstory has been involuntarily partially revealed? Would she do anything to make him stay if he did want to leave?
I think if he left, she would be very disappointed and irritated, deeply irritated.
Would you think he's a quitter? Like he's so focusing on himself that he
I
can't.
think she would. Yeah, it would be because she would feel like he was selfish.
He's weak, yeah.
And I think that Bo is trying to remind him that they're all fuck ups. And I think he's being almost a little self-righteous about his level of how fucked up he is. Like it's a pissing contest on the level of fuckery we all are,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. But he did do terrible, horrible things and kill his parents. And I don't know, who knows if Jester will understand, which I know she's one of the big ones that he's afraid about not grasping.
Yeah.
But you know, you only have your perspective to work from. So I think Bo feels like, oh, these people accepted me and I'm an asshole, so like, why not?
Yeah.
But who knows?
What do you think?
In regards to
This question from Rather Curious Lass. You said the party would have seen everything go down if they'd left Nicodranus earlier. How did you decide what situations are on a timer that the party will see if they're there at the right moment, and which situations the party will encounter no matter what? Also, I think my motorcycle just turned on. So either that or that's the SWAT team helicopter, and I've got to
go, gotta run.
go. Yes.
For me, you know, in D&D, time is somewhat malleable, and the Dungeon Master ultimately controls that, you know, that passage of time. I consider events that have some level of flexibility if the party is nearby or looking to go in a similar direction. I might tailor events to transpire near, around, or with them because it's much more interesting for the story if they're nearby for it to involve the protagonists of your story. Mm-hmm. If they're far enough away where there's little chance of them crossing that path, I would not hold off on the event. I would allow it to transpire and then decide whether it be through random rolls or if it just makes sense one way or the other it would go, and how that would affect and kind of ripple out and have a bit of a butterfly effect for other things in the society around them.
Yeah.
Plus, I like the idea of presenting the idea to the players that, you know, the world continues without you, and, you know, your actions can make a difference, and in some cases your inactions can make a difference. Sometimes there are scenarios you can't control, nor could you have made a difference. Sometimes they are. But I kind of take it on a moment-by-moment basis. That's kind of my thinking. If they're pretty nearby, maybe I'll you know, wait for or find a way to tailor it to the current narrative. If they're quite a ways away, I'll probably let it happen, and then maybe they'll hear about things that happened, and, you know, it helps build the idea of a living, breathing world for the players.
Yeah, big time.
Oh man, I'm excited to get back to Zadash with that town crier that would just yell about things that were happening.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the news.
Yeah.
We've been without the news for a month.
That's
Longer
true.
than a
True,
month,
longer than a month,
man.
right?
Yeah.
Probably more like 2 months.
2 months.
I don't know how time works.
Yeah.
Thankfully, it's not important. Marisha Lesbrenian wants to know, Bo seemed disheartened that Caleb didn't believe that she told the truth. Was she hoping that Caleb specifically would be supportive of her growth? And is that the root of her disappointment in that moment or something else?
Oh man. Oh, this is like a layered question, and we talked about this a little bit. Tell us. Every D&D character has like its challenges. You know, depending on how deep you want to like commit on an RP level. In this instance. And sometimes they present those challenges. I mean, once again, that's why I love role-playing and D&D characters, is because you get to kind of try on like a skin and a personality and then see how the world reacts to you. That's why I think it's such a great tool to build empathy in other people who are not like you. Being a compulsive liar is hard and sucks and is kind of lonely.
Yeah.
And we've now been playing long enough that I'm starting to like fully experience the repercussions of like how my party and the world around me reacts to knowing that Bo is a liar and like not super trustworthy. And like the fucked up thing is like a lot of times when Bo is talking to the party, she's being honest. But she kind of did this to herself. Like this is her perception that she has built of kind of being a bullshitter.
Boy who cried wolf types of
It's totally a boy who
yeah.
cried wolf situation. So I think she's never had anyone close enough to be upset that she has disappointed them up until this point. I think it's that. She's always kind of been, she's like disappointed her parents, but now she's disappointing people who aren't of blood and of body.
Yeah.
She's not, that don't have to legally love you.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think it's yeah. It's been fascinating.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating. And I have a whole new perspective of people who can be manipulative. It's weird.
Yeah.
Bo and Caleb have been a very fascinating, just that they have a dynamic that is, in this past episode especially, when like Caleb was apologizing to Bo, saying how, you know, I just don't want to get you all killed.
Right.
And then Bo's reaction was, fuck you, we'll kill anybody who would want
Fucks with you.
who want to mess with you.
Yeah.
And then he would be like, but no, I don't want to get you killed. They're two people, they're two characters
Yeah.
that don't listen to each other
Yeah.
and just talk at the other person.
Yeah. And they're both saying kind of the
And they're both saying the same thing,
Yeah.
but they're just so different, and they're so caught up with the strength of their own idea
Yeah.
that it creates this cycle where it's delightfully frustrating at times to be like, guys, just be friends.
Yeah.
You're saying the same thing, but I've seen that conversation so many times, and I know those people that in a similar way. Like I'm excited to see how that dynamic eventually, hopefully, works its way out. But they're at that point now where they're just
Yeah.
there's that dissonance. They come at life from two different outlooks. In two different emotional states, and they're both trying so hard to impress upon the other that this is how I feel. Yeah, but this is how I feel. Yeah, but this is how I feel.
but you didn't
but
hear
this
me
is
the
how I
first
feel.
time.
And it's just
Yeah.
like, oh man,
And
they're gonna
both
beat the
so
shit
hard
out of
on
each other.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hard, and it was funny in that moment when like Liam as Caleb was telling me all that stuff. I was hearing it as Marisha and totally got what he was saying. He's trying to like kind of apologize, but say, this is how I care for you. I don't want to get you killed. I don't want to get you messed up in the stuff. This guy is like totally out of our league. I heard that. Bo kind of like heard certain things and then like stopped at others.
Yeah.
And then in your head when you're like trying to filter, and I remember listening to him and I'm like nodding and I'm going, okay. And I'm like, and he's like, you know, you will die. And Bo's like, vote of disconfidence
Yeah.
or lack of confidence and doubt, and then him talking about maybe leaving, and she was like, oh cool, abandonment. Like he just kind of said a certain amount of words that just got a different outcome from Bo.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's hard to describe, but
No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a unique point. You have to separate yourself from the character.
100%.
Be like, I understand you, and I would say this, but my character would not. And so here we go. Buckle up.
Yeah.
yeah. One of these days we'll hear each other. It won't be the wrong combinations of words at the wrong time.
That is one of the relationships I'm looking forward the most to seeing where that arc sort of goes, what happens there. Because as the stakes get higher, you know, people either get closer or they isolate.
Get further apart, yeah.
And those two seem prone to isolate.
They're on the bounds, yeah.
Well, let's honor some amazing artists.
Hell yeah.
Show me.
This week's Fan Art of the Week.
Fan of the week. Our dad.
I wish you guys could see. Zach, is there any way that the orb could get to Max's desk over here to see what's right behind? Another way, Steve.
Oh,
Other way.
Yep.
What I have to look at.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, wait, no.
Wait, go to Max. No, go down to Max's desk.
Down,
Yeah, so he's got all these pictures of sand that are staring at me right as I'm trying to look at Marisha, and they're all just like,
Well, that's
he's
amazing.
gone.
We also unintentionally announced the fan artist via the.
That's fine.
So there you go.
Prompter.
This week's winner. Don't put the one of him up in the thing though. That one sucks. This week's fan art winner for Campaign 2, Episode 48 was sent in by Lissa Bissa. Oh, best name ever, Lissa Bissa at Lala Lish. Lish. Let's take a look. It's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's Lisa Bisa? I feel like Lissa Bissa makes sense.
This art is beautiful.
Yes, this art is beautiful.
I love the fire colors there.
I know, isn't that cool?
No,
man. That little earring.
So good.
Goodness gracious.
How pretty.
How pretty. Thank you to everyone who submitted. Congrats to you, Lisa Bisa. You have won this white oak tabletop tray from our friends at Wormwood Gaming. Don't forget to check out wormwoodgaming.com at Wormwood Gaming.
Yeah.
White oak.
Look at
is really
that.
nice. Don't forget, you can enter our weekly contest by emailing your GIF or fan art to submit at talksmachina.com. Also, the rules for our contests are available at critroll.com.
Critroll.
Moving on. Matt.
Yes.
Adira wants to know, what made you decide to make Marion an agoraphobe? Was she always afraid of going outside, or is it something she picked up after years of being the Ruby? Or is it just a super cool choice to complement Jester's desire to see the world?
Two things. It was to show a bit of a mirror to Jester's outlook and to kind of make a little more sense as to the upbringing that Jester got, and because I've had friends who have agoraphobia to certain levels and degrees, and just don't see a lot of representation of that. It can be varying degrees of struggle, but still something that's kind of misunderstood, and a lot of people think, well, that's just that's got to be rough. It's like it has its own challenges, but beautiful people can come from all sorts of backgrounds and their own unique life challenges. So it was a combination of kind of wanting to bring a little bit of representation of that in there, and like I said, a cool kind of mirror take on Jester's experience and life outlook.
Yeah. Man, that's interesting. Marisha, Nathan Kolodjizz.
Yep.
You're running a bet 1,000 tonight, buddy.
I feel bad. Do you think Bo is changing due to the people she's with? Or is what we're seeing just Bo's true self as she's starting to be more comfortable around the rest of the Mighty Nine?
It's a good question. I think everyone is influenced by the people they're around. I don't think anyone is immune to that. Anyone. There are plenty of people who say they're not. I don't think anyone, even if it's in small little ways, you will be influenced by the people around you. But also, I think she is seeing a comfort level and a level of acceptance that has allowed her to open up a little bit more in ways that she hasn't been able to yet, for sure. I think there's still more to come. A lot more to come.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was actually thinking about this earlier today, Matt. Ian William Goulet asks, that's a cool name. Goulet. Did you expect Caleb to react with such trepidation in meeting their new wizard ally? How did you envision the meeting going versus how it actually went?
I didn't expect it, but I didn't have any expectations because the whole meeting was kind of off the cuff. So for me, those moments, it's a fascinating experience to see how each player and or character reacts to the scenario. There's a certain, with Caleb, I'm always curious because he's both so afraid of being caught up in that life that that path that he escaped essentially, and anyone that he could perceive as adjacent to that, I guess, is from my interpretation, he's scared to interact with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's seeking opportunities to increase his own capabilities, his abilities to manipulate the world around him, to eventually, meet whatever his goals are. So it could go either way with him, and yeah, I'm not sure where Caleb's story is going to go. I mean, there are certain characters in the party I'm like, I think I have a pretty good idea of where they're wanting to explore, or at least I have an inkling here and there, and that might inform some of the aspects of the story I want to develop down the road to try and either confront them with those ideas or give them the opportunity to explore those aspects if I feel that's kind of naturally where it's going. I am not sure about Caleb.
Yeah.
He's such a wild card, the way Liam's been playing him, and that's exciting for me.
Yeah.
As a dungeon master, him and not, and I'd say even Jester to an extent too. Like I've a pretty solid idea, I think, of what Bo's going for now, at least in the short term. Long term, I'm still excited to see what mysteries and paths you take with her.
We've learned a lot about Ford recently.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ford, I have a pretty solid idea on right now.
Yeah.
But even then, Travis has some mystery in there that I'm curious to play with as we continue onward.
He goes on to become a sword swallower at the carnival.
I mean, that would be the optimal outcome, I guess.
Yeah.
He's already proven to be talented in that field.
They have a union.
401k. It's good.
401k, yeah.
Benefits. But yeah, Caleb more than anyone, I'm not sure where that boy's gonna end up.
I know.
That boy, I swear.
I'm a
Where
little
is
worried
that boy
about
gonna
Where's
end
what
up
that boy's
tonight?
gonna do next?
He
y'all?
left without a coat. Marisha, Fighter Lesbian wants to know, one of my other screen names.
Dope.
Bo has made great strides in using her voice over her fists in the last arc, but most of the Mighty Nine has yet to see it. Does it frustrate Bo that her friends don't believe she is capable of negotiating for the group?
Fuck, you're right. I didn't realize that. A lot of them haven't. Oh, shit! Oh, shit! It all makes so much more sense now.
Yeah.
No one saw the Plain King shit, really. they saw the second half of it. Only Caduceus saw this, and I think people trust Caduceus about as much as they trust Bo right now.
Probably.
I trust Caduceus Clay with my life.
You do?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fighter lesbian, you have opened up my mind tonight.
Yes.
Galaxy
Broad.
Marisha.
Fuck.
She's gonna be up.
Wait, what was the question?
Well, the question was obviously complimenting that voiceover fists. Most of the night might not yet to
Right.
see it.
No,
Does it frustrate Bo that her friends don't believe she is capable of negotiating for the group?
I think it's a little bit of
Is it that they don't believe she's capable, or is it that they just haven't seen it yet?
both.
Both.
Both, and I think,
what I think.
Bo is frustrated not because they don't believe her, but I think because she's reaping the seeds that she's sowed.
Yeah.
Like, and I think she realizes that she's really given them no reason to believe anything that she says. She kind of has, but maybe I don't know. See what I mean? It's hard being a compulsive liar.
That's true. Lot to keep track of.
It's a lot to keep track of.
Lot of sticky notes.
Yeah.
Thank God you're so good at note taking.
Yeah. Lots of stickies. Really
hard.
funny moment backstage Saturday night, the live show. She opened her Keyleth binder, and one of the sheets had 500,000 or 600,000 words on it. One 8.5 by 11 piece of paper.
Those were my spells.
It was the spell. I couldn't even
all
tell
my
what it
spells.
was. It was like it was covered in ants. And I'm like, man, those levels, dude. Shit is no joke. The note takings you have to have. That's what it looked like.
Descriptor,
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh man.
Well, because
Brian's a writer, you guys.
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes. Matt. Malchior wants to know. Oh, Malchior. Vox Machina had a wizard ally of importance, but of more jovial countenance in the form of Allura. This time, you presented them with an ally more aloof, more secluded, and more akin to the traditional wizard. Was this a deliberate choice?
It was less of a deliberate choice in I want them to meet a wizard that's more aloof. And more, I considered if they were to encounter this wizard, what would his personality be based on where he lives and his scenario. And he has managed to purchase and hold the one remaining part of Nicodranas that the Concord does not hold power over. And so he's very much in a, the world against me, type mentality a lot of the time. Many other factors in there. And so that was very much kind of the personality that I had created there, and honestly wasn't considering them to have had a beneficial conversation. They had gone in there the first time they went to Nicodranas, and she went like, hey, we want to talk to you. What's your tower about?
Yeah.
Okay, bye. That would not have gone well.
Yeah.
Honestly, it wasn't until they showed the sphere that he began really taking them seriously. It was like, okay, these kids are on my door, mucking up my breakfast. What do you want? Type of a thing.
Yeah.
And
Get off my lawn.
then they started saying a few things like, well, we have a couple of these strange artifacts. And he began to notice that there was some credence to this conversation. Like, well, if a kid walks up and goes, hey, mister, I found this gun on the street, and be like, give that to me.
I'll take a
Which is
look.
Yeah, where did you get this?
Right.
That's essentially where the conversation
So
started.
many questions.
And so that was enough to get his attention. And the more the conversation went on, the more he was like, all right, I'm intrigued by this. You have something that I've never seen. That's definitely interesting. I'm going to keep an eye on you. This could be mutually beneficial, or at the very least, I can maybe prevent you from killing yourselves.
Yes. Yes.
And that's where it's at. And I wouldn't say it was a deliberate choice of I want him to be a stuffy, aloof wizard. It just kind of naturally made sense based on where they were, the character's background and setting, and in doing so, we have a variant to the Allura experience.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
so
I love
far.
Yusa so much more now. I love him so much more now because I'm just picturing him as as James Earl Jones from The Sandlot or something.
Oh my God. Yeah.
You kids.
Oh my God.
He's just having a breakfast tea. on his tower that nobody bothers him at because it moves. It's a creepy tower.
He's gonna be
intentionally.
he's gonna be like the crotchety old neighbor down the street that they slowly wear down and then kind of becomes their adopted dad.
Or piss off.
I love him now.
We'll
He's the
see.
best.
Or piss off, yeah. How easily pissed off does he get?
We'll find out.
What are you gonna say?
James Earl Jones now. Sorry.
I was just going to say that the kids that explore the creepy house on the corner always make for a good story. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah,
That's true.
totally.
Did you guys ever have a creepy house? I had a very creepy
Yes.
house. Remember the Burbs?
Oh yeah.
I had like the Burbs situation.
Nice.
See, I want to be that guy when I get older.
Hell yeah.
I want to have the house that's like overrun with ivy and like wrought iron gate and all the
Hell
kids
yeah.
like try and
pretty
sneak
close.
by.
I was about to say,
We got
I was
close
like,
with
y'all
our
grew
house when we
up
first
like
moved
that.
in, yeah.
Yeah.
But then we kept getting sticky notes in our doors from neighbors going like, please fucking deal with your yard.
Yeah.
You know, it's like,
it was
all right.
like that for a
was pretty
while.
bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Matt Colville was writing about how he had to like gain 2 levels fighting his way to the front door.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was bad.
Your guys' packages weren't getting stolen; they were just getting overgrown by the weeds and
Yeah, the land was reclaiming them.
Yeah.
mulch. The mulch was pulling them.
We'll go out there to try and clean it up next year, and we'll find the remains of 2 Amazon package delivery men.
Yep.
Like, oh, we should call somebody.
There's gonna be a mildewy lava lamp
Yeah. Yeah.
and a beard trimmer that never showed up.
There you go.
Thank God. Marisha, this person whose name's about to come up on the screen wants to know
Yeah.
what was going through your mind when Caleb pulled Bo aside and begged to not be so visible? Was it hard to balance Bo's harsh fuck you attitude with wanting to support a struggling friend and survivor?
Adaragged.
Yeah, something
Right?
like that. Adira.
Adiragged.
That's not it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of, I was kind of alluding to this earlier. It's all still so much information that she's still processing it. And if anything, I think Bo isn't revealing Caleb's shit, not because she's afraid of outing Caleb, but because she's trying to prove to herself that she's not going to out Caleb
Right.
after he's so fucking convinced that she's going to say something.
Yeah.
And I think like Bo, and then also me a little bit personally, just want to be like, fuck you, it wasn't me, it was your best friend, not.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was still trying to be like, I think it's because there are people in the room who haven't, and then, yeah, I don't know. There's so much drama, and we left on a cliffhanger. Popcorn. I'm tuning in next week.
Yes.
I will be there.
I know. Did you feel like that was just the right time to end it, or was it if we go any further, it's going to go too late?
It was more that.
Yeah.
Like,
Because I imagine you've got to go like, ooh, we could open up this next piece, but you don't want to cut it short in the middle of it at that point. Right?
yeah, I try and keep track of time somewhat, and you know, if I could have naturally ended it as they were arriving at Felderwin, but it was only like around 10 o'clock at that time, and I was like, we could probably go for another half an hour or so, and it would be fun to throw some of these, you know, seeds of chaos before we leave the week, you know, give
Yeah.
people something to think about and ruminate on until we got to the next game.
Yeah.
Definitely didn't have enough to think about.
Yeah, like I said, it was such a wholesome, you know, travel episode before. Then I was like, I want to have at least something meaty in there.
Yeah,
I don't know how deep into it we were gonna get, and we ended up to get pretty deep before the end there. And then I was like, well, this is a good button to end on. A moment
All
of tension,
buttons.
a little bit of
Yeah.
chaos, and I'm curious to see how things pan out this Thursday.
Yeah. I'm going to squeeze this one in really fast. I'm talking about a question.
Oh.
It's from Chris Galen, but it's really good. The Empire has shown they operate with some brutal and morally questionable methods. What made you decide to show a stark contrast to Tal'Dorei, where the ruling bodies were approachable and trustworthy?
Because people are varied and societies are varied, and I think we had seen enough of the the story that revolved around, good people in good cities trying to survive against the dark dangers of monsters in the unknown world around them. There's an aspect of that always in D&D. You fight monsters. It's part of what the game is about. I wanted one side, with all the depths that we got into and exploring these characters and these stories with Vox Machina, I felt comfortable enough to go, you know what, let's try delving a little more into the ideas of relative morality and, various government bodies that do things that can be perceived both good and bad depending on which side of that you're on. And to me, I wanted to explore that as a unique, different flavor and to bring a little more of that gray area into the moral story in contrast to the last campaign. So as to being so much like, we're good, this is evil, good must prevail. And there'll be aspects of that no matter how you play the game usually. But I wanted there to be a little more of that spectrum in the middle of where the players could play and ask questions of each other, ask questions of themselves, and maybe come out of this whole story with a little more empathy and interest in seeing things from all sides, from learning what you can from all perspectives, and then make your judgments based on the information you have.
That's a really, really great way to describe the moral vibe of Campaign 1 versus 2.
Yeah. It's also poignant.
Yeah, very poignant. Well, I like to explore themes I think that are important for us to explore as human beings too.
Agreed. Yeah.
Part of what makes role-playing games so great is it gives you that opportunity to step into these other stories, other worlds, other characters' shoes, and get to know your real world a little better by playing and existing in a safe, not real world.
Getting to know yourself better too.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Those at the table with you.
It's a shame you all don't like each other so much.
Oh, it's a problem. We're working on it.
Max is holding up a sign that just says, "I'm going to Arby's." So I guess we have to.
Will you give me some curly fries?
I guess we have to wrap up for the night. I apologize.
Side of cheese sauce.
That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Stick around for Talks Machina After Dog. That's a good boy.
After doggy.
Yeah. Sleepy the whole
look at that.
episode.
I know, he was so nappy.
Alpha Dog. That's a good movie too.
Oh.
It's a great movie.
Yay.
Huh? Justin Timberlake is in that movie, Steve. Yes. I would like to thank Matt.
Southland Tales.
Southland Tales is great.
That movie is.
It's so bad, but I love it.
So bad.
Richard, the guy who did Donnie Darko, did it.
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant, is that it?
That was.
Oh no.
Anyway,
Southland Tales
continue.
is something else.
It's something else.
I'll tell you what, if you happen to grab a brownie from the wrong plate one night, rent yourself Southland Tales, and you will have a good time. That's episode 49 airs this Thursday. Till then, don't forget to love each other. Don't worry, it's almost Thursday. I dreamed a dream of time gone by.
This is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah.
You've made Tiny Ford really uncomfortable.
Come to me, Ford. Hey, put it on Ford. Wait, let me move my champagne. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Hey guys!
Oh no.
I brought nachos.
I hate
No,
it.
not that voice.
Mask of many faces.
That is terrifying.
God.
He's right behind me. Anyways,
Don't like it.
5 minutes a week, Zach gets to have fun.
That's
We're
it
so
though.
thankful.
Let's see. Bird's butt. We've all got him.
I mean,
Who was the most unexpected guest you met on the art show?
Oh, on the good old art
Most
show.
unexpected guest?
We knew who was coming.
We knew who was coming in. We had a lot of great friends show up in addition to all of the amazing artists. We had Satine was there, TJ Storm was
yeah,
there,
it's great
Yeah.
to see TJ.
Sam Riegel showed up.
Holy shit.
For once.
I mean,
Yeah.
Andrea
like,
Towers.
Andrea
was there.
Towers
That
was in town.
wonderful.
yeah, I think the ones
Babs!
Babs.
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 Pub draw tomorrow.
Pub draw.
I think Amira coming in from
Yep.
Saudi
Arabia.
Arabia.
Oh my God,
It was
she
so great to
was
meet
the
Amira.
sweetest.
She was the
Glad
best.
she could make it.
Wow,
I loved her fashion.
that was a flight.
And then Joma coming in from Philippines.
Yep.
I think,
Kyle.
Yep.
yes, yeah. Oh, I love Kyle.
Elaine, Kendra, everybody was here.
It was amazing.
Everybody was here.
There's a lot of really great
Nikki.
people. And everyone who couldn't be here, we missed you terribly, but
missed
we
the
had you there in our hearts,
shit out
and
of
we'll
you.
have future chances, hopefully, to shake hands and hug in person.
One of these days I'll get to hug my sleepy Jane.
I know.
Oh, Sleepy Jane. Oh, we love Sleepy Jane. Rachel, I got to meet, who did the cabbage portrait thing.
Yeah.
You fuckers. That was one of the biggest pieces in the goddamn
it
room.
was,
I
man.
saw that and I'm like, oh no. There's people. The best part about it, though, was right in front of the art was a giant trash
That was
can.
the best.
And all of the fans and the artists were all like, hey, the trash can's in the perfect place, isn't it? I'm like, yep. Yep.
Perfect.
Oh, man.
So good.
This question's really funny. This is C2E48. Which member, Dan, you can answer this too. Which member of the Mighty Nine do you think would be most likely to pull a card from a deck of many things?
Jester.
Chester.
Agreed.
Easily.
Yep, easily.
Maybe not.
Which is so ironic because of how much shit Laura gave Travis last campaign
Yeah.
that now she's playing the character that would most
I would
likely.
do the, yeah.
I think Knot would be the second one. I think Jester and
Yeah.
then Knot. I think Bo would do it if somebody was like, Bo, you'd never do that.
Yeah,
You'd be
if
like,
Bo was
"Fuck you."
tempted. Yeah, if Bo was dared, she would do
Yeah.
it, for sure.
Oh, Bo's too scared to pull one out of that. You'd never
Yeah.
do it.
Not up front. Not up front. I'd have to wait.
That's so scary.
I'd have to wait.
It's the worst thing that's ever been existed. That deck gives me nightmares.
I know.
It's awful.
Man, yeah.
I'm proud that I introduced it, as much as I said I'd never introduce
You
it.
said you would never introduce it.
And I agree. No one should ever introduce it. But if you do,
Give it
terrible
to the
things can
worst.
happen to your campaign.
Terrible things.
And we got off pretty easy, actually.
Yeah.
Like the void card's pretty terrible, but we got like a one shot out of it, and they were high enough level where they
Rogue
could
card
retrieve
is the
it.
one that scares the crap out of me.
Which one's that?
The one where like someone from your past like turns on you and like wants to hunt you down
Yeah,
and
and-
Oh,
kill
that
you.
happes to me like every 3 months.
Well,
So-
it doesn't
Drawing from
happen
the
to
deck.
me, Brian, so it scares me.
I don't need to draw from a deck from someone from my pit. Where have you been? Where did you go? If you took a poop over there, Steve's gonna be really unhappy.
Just Steve, though.
Look at him.
buddy.
That's the
Look at
biggest.
the face.
That's the big. Oh, big old yawns. Big old yawns. Let me just make sure. There we go. Rush 2049 wants to know. Rush, great band, right?
Ben Jammin's favorite band.
Sure.
Whose favorite band?
Is that true?
We make fun of Ben Vanderfluid all the time for his.
Oh, Rush is Ben's favorite. Okay, our brand manager, Ben Vanderfloot,
Yeah.
his favorite band
Yep.
is Rush.
Yep.
He said, I love the vocals.
That's. I had an extensive conversation with Matt Colville about Rush because Colville loves Rush too.
Benjamin.
Okay.
And like, and I appreciate the songwriting and some of the musical aspects of it. I can't get into the vocals, and it's just not for me. I respect it,
Yeah.
but it's just not for me.
I grew up a drummer, so Neil Peart, that's how it's pronounced. Amazing.
Sure.
Vocals are pretty rough. Not to say that, not talented, but yeah. I'm more of a Dream Theater guy myself. You guys like Dream Theater? You fuck with Dream Theater? Steve, what are you laughing about?
Dream Theater.
I love Dream Theater. Anybody else? Zach? Chris? Chris gets down with some Dream Theater,
you go,
man.
rock it.
Scenes from a memory. You guys, on your way to Taco Bell tonight,
Dream Theater.
pull up some Dream
Okay.
Theater.
There you go.
Okay.
Sunny Day Real Estate. Rush 2049, does Critical Role affect your relationship with each other for good, for bad, for evil?
Just Critical Role of our
Let's see.
relationship or our
It says,
relationship
like-
at a greater whole?
Relationship with each other for good, for bad, for evil.
For good and for.
Let me say this. I will say this. Let's look at the whole family. Let's look at the entire family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I just mentioned, I grew up in bands and a musician and traveling and
Right.
doing that sort of a thing. you fight all the time. You love each other, you fight all the time, but like it's like that contentious relationship and like that or something. We don't really do that. Like, no, there's not really a lot of, everybody understands each other, but we understand each other's intentions so well that where others might misconstrue something, you know, that don't know each other as well, we go like, oh, I know why he said that or why she did that or whatever else, and there's so much grace and understanding.
I've been so scared of that the entire time. Like, because this was just like our home game, and we all became so close through that, and then when it became a show that began to actually get a following, it was like, oh, okay, there's now like pressure on where this is going. It's growing whether or not we're ready for it, and we've just been playing catch up this whole time, and then we had to start a company just to even like organize it, and every step is like this huge scary moment of going like, okay, we're having to take another step into business with our friends, and that doesn't always go well at all.
Right.
And so, yeah, it's been a big fear this entire time, but we've all been very good about, checking in with each other.
Checking in all the time.
And making sure that we're all, like, know where we're standing, what we're doing, what our responsibilities are, and I'm really proud of us.
Yeah.
That here we are. And yeah, we don't, whenever there's any sort of miscommunication or contention, we talk it out immediately, and I think we're on the right path if that's how things are going.
Yeah. And people like working here, right, Danny?
What?
Max?
I don't know.
Steve? It's a show. You can't use hand gestures. You have to. There's no. Okay, one more time. One more time. What did you say? Okay, there we go. There we go. Steve Falo's our director of photography, master of sass. That's it. That's all the time we have.
Oh.
We got to go. You guys got to go to Taco Bell and then get some sleep.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
I got to pay some parking tickets. And the weird thing is, they're not mine.
That's very altruistic of you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how charitable.
I mean, someone left them on my car, but they're not mine.
Henry.
People do. Oh yeah, says I've got warrants. I wonder if you can actually make him talk. I'm afraid to. Oh no, we'll leave it alone.
Yeah, for now.
We'll see you next week, my friends. I'm excited for this Thursday's episode. I'm excited to make sure Sam fulfills his commitment to come on the show next week.
Put it in his calendar. I watched him do it.
Fans, critters, friends, at Sam Riegel on Twitter. Go to his most recent Instagram picture, report it, but before you do, leave a comment that says, you better show up to Talks on Tuesday, and tweet him and say, you better show up on Talks next week.
Yeah, hold him accountable.
Hold him accountable.
Peer pressure.
We love you guys.
I love
you.
peer pressure.
Yes.
Ready to go for a walk, Henry?
You want to go home?
We're gonna go home, buddy.
Cuddle buddy.
No.
Bloop. Just a plop.
He's out.
Fancy feet.
Yep.
Oh, buddy.
Good night, friends. We love you all. Until next week.
Bye.
Bye.